Good morning, class. This is Miss Nice Wonder, and today we are going to start with our unit fractions. This is our first lesson of our fraction unit, and so I really quickly, this is going to be all of my videos for you guys while we are out of school are going to be very short videos, okay? Just to show you guys kind of what you should be doing on the worksheets that I sent home with you guys yesterday, okay? So we have unit fractions. Two things that I want you guys to know. Oops, it's kind of hard to do videos for you guys, but two things that I want you guys to pay attention to is that we have fractions. So this is just like I'm writing on the board with you guys in school. So we have fractions. Now fractions are parts of a whole. That's how we can remember what fractions are. They are parts of a whole piece. Okay? Then we have something called unit fractions. Unit fractions are equal parts of a whole. And unit fractions typically are the smallest equal part of a whole. And one way that I can remember unit fractions is always remember that a 1 is on top. Okay, we are always remembering that a 1 is on top of our unit fractions. So fractions are parts of a whole, just the pieces of a whole piece that we have. So if you have a whole orange and you take part of it away, that is a fraction of the orange. Now our unit fraction is our equal parts of the whole. So that is when you have a whole orange and you divide it into equal parts all the way up. Then you have unit fractions, okay? And always remembering that that 1 is on top of our unit fractions. So to give you guys an idea of what unit fractions are, I've come up with a few materials. So I have a couple circles that have 1s in them. Okay, these are our wholes, right? This is like if I had a whole orange. Okay, that's what those are. If I have a whole orange, that's what that is. Then here's my other orange, and now I'm going to divide this into unit fractions. So if I draw a line, now this might not be exact, but if I draw a line down the middle of my orange, I have now cut my orange in half. And I need to write my unit fraction of half on each side. Now, these are unit fractions. 1, there's a 1 on top, and 2, there are 2 pieces. That's how we get our 2 on the bottom. So I have 1 half. I have 1 out of 2 pieces on top, and I have 1 out of 2 pieces on the bottom. So those are a type of unit fraction. Another example of a unit fraction would be if I had another orange. If I draw this one and I draw it in 2 lines, I draw 2 lines. Now, I have 4 pieces this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 pieces. So I know 4 is going to be on the bottom of all of my fractions. So you can go ahead and start drawing your lines now. Okay, you know that 4 is going to be on the bottom because you have 4 pieces. And if Miss Nice Wonder told you guys to draw a unit fraction, you would know that you would put 1s on the top of all of your fractions. So this is a unit fraction, and so is this. Just because there's a different number on the bottom does not mean it's not a unit fraction. It is the equal parts of the whole. So there is 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4, which means this is a unit fraction. And so is this, except for there's just 2 pieces. Okay? Another example of something that you might see on your unit fractions is if you get, I'm going to start with the smaller one. Okay? If you get something like this, it's a blank rectangle. Miss Nice Wonder might ask you guys to separate this into equal parts. Now, I would suggest using a pencil, and you need to have a good eraser, just in case you mess this up the first time. It's okay. Now, if I asked you to separate this into 3 equal parts, I would ask you to do something like this. All of those parts are the same size, and then I would ask you to write in the unit fractions. There are 3 pieces, and I have to have my 1 on top. So 1/3 is my unit fraction. You can do that with any size rectangle. So now I have a longer rectangle, and I want to separate this into 6 pieces this time. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I have 6 pieces, so my fraction is going to be 1/6 because I'm asking you to put in unit fractions, making sure that you have that 1 on top and there's 6 pieces. So that is my unit fraction. And my last example for unit fractions looks something like this. If I shade in my rectangle and it looks like this, I'm shading it in. If I asked you on a paper to tell me what unit fraction was colored in, you would tell me that the unit fraction that is colored in is 1/3. That is the unit fraction that is colored in. There are 3 pieces and one of them is colored in, 1/3. So if I asked you this time, what unit fraction is colored in, it doesn't matter where on the shape it's colored in. The unit fraction that is colored in on this one would be 1/4 because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have one of them colored in. So 1/4 is the unit fraction that is colored in on this rectangle. Thank you very much, friends, and I hope that you are enjoying your days off. However, if you need any help on unit fractions, you can always email me.